Yo, what up guys? This is Market Cipher. This is going to be a video on range deviations. So range deviations are awesome because they tell you not only the direction that the range is going to go, but they also give you amazing entries. So I figured we'd start with Fartcoin in Market Cipher tradition. So I want to talk about a trade that I got into here, right? So let's get rid of the current stuff here. So back whenever Fartcoin was here, so first going over what a range is, right? So when you come into an area, you're gonna put in your first high and your first low. That's gonna define your range. So you're gonna pull your range. And you're gonna go into your fib tool and you're gonna change it to percentages and you're gonna do these here. You pause the video, take a screenshot, whatever. But basically it's 25% above or below the range. And this is like the acceptable deviation for something to make before it's in a different range, right? So we were trading in this area. We were back here. We were trading in this area and Bitcoin was crashing and everyone was freaking out. And I pulled the range and we came down to the spider line and we tapped exactly the minus 25% range deviation. Once we did that and we bounced, I got long here. And the reason for that is because the logic is the risk to reward is insane, right? So like if you're entering a long position here, I'm out if any significant candle closes below here. I'm out of the trade, right? But I'm targeting the top of the range. So right there, that's like an 11 to 1, right? So this is a way that you can get into really high risk to reward trades. And it shows you direction. So another example was like whenever we got this SFP here at the top, right? So whenever you see this come up and then close back within the range, you can take that short because I don't want to own it if any, or I don't want to be short on it if any significant candle closes above here and I'm targeting the bottom of the range, right? That one's obviously less profitable, but you could have shorted it up here, I'm sure on like the 1 minute DGN level. But the basic principle's there, right? You're normally shorting just to discount, but it allows you to get into trades and to tell if the range is actually breaking, right? So then whenever we see this level broken here, whenever we see this level broken here, we know that we're no longer in this range, right? So from there, we went up like another 5% to the other spider line, right? I'm not shorting this. Like I'm sure on a 5-minute time frame. Yeah, so after this clear break right here, right? Like we're in a different range now, and you're writing that up. And in this case, I just had resistance already, but I'm sure everybody can draw, you know, a fucking trend line, right? Or anything like that. Try to figure out where this thing's gonna go, right? There you go, right? You can get your targets. That's not the point. The point is determining direction and determining when something is actually moving out of the range. So another good coin to show this on is SUI, right? So let's take a look at SUI on the daily, right? So let's look at the bottom here. So whenever we were at the bottom for SUI, it bounced off $2, it came up here, right? So when we got this scare, you know, the tariffs, and the price comes down to like 175, right? If I'm checking the daily chart and I see that it came down to 175 and wicked up and closed back within this range deviation range, I'm taking that long, right? And the reason for that is I don't want to own it down here, but I'm targeting the top of the range, right? And obviously, you know, using macro conditions, you can determine, oh, hey, everything's kind of been mitigated on the way up, on the way down, right? So you've got all this liquidity in here. So now this trade's even more attractive, right? Because I know I want to take it up to supply, right? So now I'm going to 10 to 1 trade just using range deviations. Also, once we get this candle close here above the top of the range deviation, I know that this coin's no longer ranging, right? So we're looking for higher prices. So I know that I can hold this trade up to the next few targets, right? This is just going to be a quick video. I'm sure it's not the most entertaining, but it's just supposed to be helpful for you guys. So, like for example, when Sui comes up here and we start going sideways, right? You want to pull your first high and your first low, right? And that's your range. So when you do that, you see that Sui comes up here and SFP's the top. I'm not really interested in this because I want longs, right? Because I've already determined the direction. I know that we're no longer ranging down here, so I'm looking for deviations towards the bottom of the range, right? So this becomes a range deviation here, and you know to buy all of these bottoms, right? Like this wick here, you know to buy. This wick here, you know to buy, and then it comes in a discount. If you wanted to take some profit, you could. But then whenever it comes down here, right? If we go to like a significant time frame, when I see this right here on the daily, I'm buying the heck out of this thing, right? Because again, the logic's the same, right? I don't want to buy this thing if it breaks the range, or I don't want to own it if it breaks the range. And again, like this stop loss is just visual, right? I'd be looking at the daily chart for a close, but then you're just riding it back up to the top of the range, right? It's 3 to 1, and then breaks out of the range. There you go. You're riding it up even higher. So it gives you another chance to get in. And it gives you direction, right? So another thing right now, right? So if we pull the range that we were in previously, we notice that Sui closed the daily candle above this, right? Now, on the weekly, Sui did SFP this. So you're getting mixed signals here, right? But one thing that this helped us do is figure out that this SOS was going to happen, right? Let me get rid of all my current TA here. I'll just hide it. So we were in this trading range for the longest time. Yeah, after we broke above this parallel channel, we're trying to hold it, whatever, right? So we were here. And this helped us catch amazing longs that I'm still in. I'm still in this long from 1016. I'm still in this long from 1024, right? So we come up here, we formed this range from this low to this high. Now, I don't need to look on Twitter. I don't need to go on YouTube. I don't need to do any of that. If I'm trying to figure out direction, I'm just waiting for the range to deviate, right? So we get this big correction down here, and I'm telling everyone, hey, if we get a 1 hour candle close below 103.20, you don't want a long anymore. But what happens? We come down here, we get bought up. I'm sure there's like aggressive buy volume, or yeah, a bunch of market shorts down here, and we close back within the range. I'm taking that long, right? Taking it back up to the top of the range. It's 4 to 1. And I mean, still being in that, right? What did that turn into? Like a 10 to 1, right? More importantly, let's go to the 4 hour here. So we come up here, right here, right? We come up here, everyone's bearish. Look, we SFP'd the high. Oh no, everybody's shorted. Bitcoin's going down. No. This is when I got giga bullish. I was yelling in Discord to long everything. And the reason for that is we had a deviation above the range and then a pullback back into the range. So I told the guys, I was like, hey, we're going to have a stop hunt and then New York's going to pump it. And that's exactly what happened. And what made me absolutely sure of that was the daily closed up here, right? The daily closed outside the range. At that point, you're longing everything because you have clear direction now. You know that it's going up, and you know to long, right? And then what happens after that? We come back down to test the last point of supply here, and then we SOS to the top of the range. So this is important because it gives you clear, defined times when you're ranging, clear, defined times when you're deviating from the range but not breaking it, and then it gives you direction when you ultimately break the range. So I think this is a really important tool to use. It gets you in extremely profitable trades, and I think I'm going to do a stream about it soon so you guys can ask all the questions you guys want, but I just wanted to give you guys this quick refresher. And don't freak out about this, really. It's really not bad, I promise. Like, it's just, you know, people buying. You haven't even closed below the second MA here, still gapped. Everything's fine. We need to wait and see if the weekly closes back up here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Wave Cipher out. Later, guys.